Hello everyone, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're doing well. I'm glad you joined me tonight. And I'm starting a new project, so I thought I would share it with you. This is going to be my design team project for ShabbyDabbyDooDah for November. And the kits, I will tell you real quick and I will link them below. I'm using 8-page Victorian ephemera, Tina's Victorian street tabs, and 14-page background vintage Victorian florals. So that's what these are. I've already printed it out and cut out the pages. So I printed the pages full size, and all I had to do was just cut off a little strip all the way around. So these are pretty much 8.5 by 11, just folded in half, except for a little strip. So let me well, they're pretty much 8.5 by 11. Let me grab my ruler here. I should have one available, but I've been cleaning up trying to clean up my craft room from my last projects and from all my thrifting in Florida. So let me measure the whole sheet actually for you, because I want you to be able to craft along with me. And the idea on this project is for you, if you do it along with me, to use your 8.5 by 11 paper and not have to cut it down. But I had to cut the it left a white strip around the outside that was probably like less than 1/4 of an inch, but I had to cut that off. So it ended up being, this is like just over 8 inches wide, and so you know what I'm working with, and just a little over 10.5 inches wide. So that's how much I had to cut off. But I want you to be able to do it with 8.5 by 11, so you can pretend like these are 8.5 by 11. So I divided them into, because I don't know exactly if I'm making 1 or 2 journals yet, but I'll show you. I'll flip through the colors real quick so you can see Tina's beautiful Victorian floral pages here. So when you see the colored ones, that's how they're supposed to be. And a couple of them I printed out black and white by mistake, as usual. My printings never go perfectly. I do experiment a lot, so that's probably part of my problem. But isn't this beautiful? I printed them double-sided, so you can see the strips or stripes on this one. And it looks like they're sewing here. They're so pretty. I just love Tina's colors. And this one, a lot of these look like wallpaper. So here's the black and white one, and I'm going to use it. I think it's still beautiful, even though it's the black and white. I did print some of these on a pink bond or resume paper, which was like pink granite, it was called. And I wanted to try it. I think you really can't even see it on some of these, so, or on any of these, except for maybe the black and white one. But here's another rosy, and there's the back. Or actually, this is the front. This must be a black and white one. I kind of did every other with the black and white, but isn't that beautiful, even though it's black and white? And then here's a yellow rose on this one, and here's the back with the yellow flowers. I think maybe I'll put it like this. I think that might be upright. Now here's the pink granite. I left this one with pink. I mean, that's another reason I printed on this paper. I like printing on this kind of beige or colored resume paper, is if you want to leave it blank, then you don't have a white page, which there's nothing wrong with the white page, but here you have a pretty, it's called pink granite blank page. And then here's the other side. This was, I think, a black and white, and you can see definitely see the pink through that. So that turned out really pretty. This is a colored one, and see how pretty that is. This is a black and white, and this is another colored one with the pink granite there. So that's half of the 14 pages there, plus a couple of the black and white ones that I printed by mistake. And then here's some more colored. Again, look at this, how pretty that is. And then you go on, let me just flip a little quicker, the black and white, pretty colors. I think I'd like to have this one, maybe like this. Okay. And then here is another pretty one. And there's the other side of that. Lots of florals, you know, Victorian florals is what it's called. So, and I have papers here beside me that I'm going to add to these. So I'll be showing you that if we have time. But those are the 14-page vintage floral Victorian florals. So the ephemera was the 8-page Victorian ephemera, which is right here. I've already cut it out, so I'll try to show some of this to you. It's a lot, but they're so beautiful. As I was cutting these out, I was just like, oh, this is so cute. This is so adorable. This is so beautiful. I just love them all. These are mostly all printed on cardstock here. And this is also white cardstock here. I haven't cut these out, but this is the street tabs. I thought these would be really fun to work with in this journal. So you can see they're different street signs. So here's some little lanterns or light, you know, street lights here. And then these say like Market Square, you know, Tower Street, Old Butcher's Row. Just so cute. So I'm going to fussy cut all of these out. And I just, you know, didn't get it done by the time I wanted to do this video. So let me just show you. I won't look at how, let me just show you. This is a lot of ephemera. I think I have plenty of ephemera here. But look, everything down to these little pieces like this. There's a couple postage stamps in here to these beautiful journaling cards or whatever I want to do with them. Make tuck spots or, you know, pockets or whatever. Just decorate pages. Use them as journaling cards in pockets. So the thing about this project is I'm going to do a no-sew journal. I'm challenging myself because I've gotten so used to sewing everything that I think it's going to be hard for me not to sew. But I was inspired to do a no-sew journal, and I want to try it. So, I mean, that's how I started out. I didn't sew at the beginning. I had a sewing machine, but it wasn't out permanently like it is now. I didn't have a craft room. So it was easier for me not to sew then. And I wasn't used to it either. So anyway, so if you are somebody that's starting out, or just maybe you're experienced and you want to challenge yourself to go back to basics and make a no-sew journal, you could do this along with me. So you get the idea. Lots of beautiful, here's, look at these colors here. I mean, so pretty. I just love this ephemera. I don't know how much I'm going to use in here. I'm kind of hoping I have some extra. But if I don't, I want to print out some more and just have this in my stash, you know what I mean? So the ephemera. So I'm thinking of using this composition book for my cover. And so tonight what we'll do is go ahead and start working on our cover. So the idea behind the 8.5 by 11 sheets is to make it easy to, first of all, make your pages. You don't have to cut them down, right? And then to go ahead and get your cover cut. So you can use any cardboard, chipboard, file folder, whatever you want. I'm using this composition book cover. I had this in my closet because I already used the pages. I coffee dye composition book pages, and I have them in my shop for sale in case you need any. But I think the easier, I have my cutting board, board here, but I think it's going to be easier because I don't know if my cutting board will cut through this. I think it's going to be easier for me to just cut this with my scissors to start, and then maybe I might need to even it up with my cutting board. So I want it a little bit, if you've never made a journal before and you want to make a no-sew easy journal, what you want to do is just kind of measure by taking your pages, fold them in half, your 8.5 by 11, fold it in half, so they're folded in half, and take it and measure that way. So you want a little space from the top and the bottom. So you can see I have a little space here. See that? And I'm going to have the same amount of space up here and a little bit over here, like maybe a little bit more than that. You know, maybe like a 1/4 of an inch or so over here. I do have my pages here so I can see. This is not all of my pages, but I can see, you can see how they're protruding out already. So I can kind of see where I want it, because I really don't want to have to cut down my pages. So I might go ahead and leave a 1/2 inch, a whole 1/2 inch right here. So let's just kind of take this inside, and I want this even over here with my fold. So I'm going to put it, you know, not right up against, but pretty much right up against it. I just want to have, you know, a little leeway there in case I need to cut. Like this is uneven here, and I don't know if I'm going to cut this or what yet. I'll let you know. I think I'm not going to cut it. I think we're going to do this. If you want to get a composition book, that'll be the easiest thing to use, because I'm not going to cut this. I just decided. And in fact, I still have some strings in here to pull out, because composition books, if you have one that's together, the easy way to take it apart is cut your strings. Most of them are held together like this, these types, with strings. So you just cut your strings and you can pull your papers right out without ripping them or anything. So that is very awesome. But so let's just put this right against here, because that's how we're going to have it, right there. And leave our space at the bottom. And I'm going to draw a line with my pencil here where I want to cut 1/2 inch out. I want to cut a straight line. So let me just see if I can draw it with because if I cut it with my scissors and it's straight, then I don't have to cut it with my paper cutter. But if it's not straight, then I will have to cut it with my paper cutter. So let's cut this first and see how we do. Got my scissors right here. I got a line to guide me, so let's see how straight I can get it. If I can get it on the line, I'll be doing good. So we're just going to see how much we can get done tonight, and I'm going to try to make consequential videos so that we can keep working on this without a break. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to do it, and if you're doing it with me, I'm sure you want to see what happens next, right? So we've got our back cut. Let's cut our front by measuring it on our back. So we're just going to cut right here, and that's a pretty straight line. And this journal is going to be a non-perfect journal. We're gonna do it like this, but we're not going to be like trying to get it every little thing perfect. However it turns out, that's how it's going to be, right? We're not going to stress over it. So here we go. We got this part done, except we need to cut our top or our bottom. So it doesn't matter which, you can cut the top or the bottom. So again, with our little space at the bottom here, a little sliver. Whoops, I don't need that anymore. I'm going to just draw a line, since that's working so well for me. I'm going to draw a line here to cut on, because that worked really well. I don't feel like I need to use my paper cutter. And so right there, I'm going to draw a line across here where we're going to cut. I'm doing it on the top. You can do it on the top or the bottom. So there we go. Cut across the top. And we will have our cover, our base of our cover anyway. So let's go ahead and cut the top off here, because this is going to be completely covered. We're going to cover this up. This is just our base, and this is a really strong base. If you're using this type of cover, it's very thick, so you're going to have a strong cover. There we go. We're not going to stress again, like I said, on perfection, but if you watch my videos, you know I'm kind of a perfectionist, so it's going to be hard for me not to stress on that. So I can see that's not totally, I think I need to cut this right here. There's just a little sliver here that's not straight. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to do that. A little bit of perfection And you can save these strips if you want. This especially might be good for a future spine, you know, a 1-inch spine. So I'm going to save these, and actually this too, because a smaller book might need a little spine like that. So yes, I'm totally going to save all of those. I keep all my cardboard in the other room on a shelf in another desk I have, and it's just piled in there. When I need cardboard, I run in there and get it. So, or anything like this. So here we go. So let's see how it looks, just to see what is happening and see if we did it right. Okay, so I feel like that's good. So right now, instead of working on any more of the cover, we've got it cut. You know, you can adjust if you think you made it too wide. You can cut more off over here, whatever. Just adjust how you want. And I'm going to go ahead and add I'm keeping my paper cutter here in case I need to cut my paper. And if you don't have a paper cutter, you don't really have to have one. Just use your scissors, you know. So papers that I'm adding to this. I have over here, beside me, so let me bring them over here, some really nice papers, and they're, you know, I've got all the digitals here, so you don't have to use digitals at all. Just use whatever papers you want. I'm just using my digitals because this is my design team project. I need to do this design team project for November, so that's the only reason I'm using digitals. But use whatever papers you have. So for instance, you can use book pages or scrapbook paper. You know, if you don't want to print out some digitals, if you have some scrap paper, if you don't have any scrapbook paper, just use whatever. So some pages that I'm adding are, let's see, these are pages I received from Jovi, Creating with Jovi. These are coffee dyed papers with gold like flecks on them. They're really pretty. So I thought these would be fun to use in here. And they're pretty much 8.5 by 11. So I can just fold them in half. And she put these little edges on here too. She sent me these in Happy Mail. So this is really cool now that I get to use them in my journal, right? So let's see. Now I did fit the cover to fit my pages that I cut down. So I might have to cut my 8.5 by 11 pages down a bit. Let me see how this fits. Wait, yeah, I'm gonna have to just cut a little sliver off of here because it's not that I want my pages all the same. I don't want them to stick out of my cover out of the top. So I'm gonna cut a sliver off the top of this one. Little sliver off the top. I'm not really measuring. Like I said, they don't have to be all the same size. I'm just kind of going with the easy peasy way to do things. So let's see. If I stick this, first of all, I want to make sure I cut it short enough. Yes, it's perfect. So I'm going to put this right here, and look how beautiful that looks already with just that coffee dyed paper in between. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to see if I don't know if see, I do have a little bit of a, well, it's just basically a fold on this composition book. So it's kind of like a note, you know, just a one, I think I'm just going to be able to do a one signature. And I have another composition book that I have just the cover in my closet. So I might get that one out and do 2 journals for this other signature. I just didn't know if 2 would fit in here. And they'll be a little squished, I think, because it doesn't have a spine, a rounded spine, or a, you know, any kind of a spine really on this type of composition book. So yeah, I probably will end up doing 2 journals. So let's see. We are working on this signature. So let's put some more paper in here. So I've got some, I'll save this one. Actually, let's work on both of these signatures at the same time. And I have my timer going, so when I hear a little beep, that means it's time to go. So I'll let you know when I hear that beep. I have my timer as my microwave. So I figured that would be something I would hear and try something different, you know, other than my usually I use my TV for my timer. So let's see if I cut this one short enough. I'm going to measure it with my pages here. I think it's exactly the same as the pages, so go ahead and put that one in. Right here. So I've got 2 of those pages in there from Jovi. Now, next I have 2 more pages. Let's see, I have 2 more pages from Jovi. Before I put those in though, I'm going to put those over to the side. And I have some music paper here. This is vintage. This is vintage music paper, but I also coffee dyed it. And it's also got some of my Rit dye on it. So it came out really kind of a mixture of burgundy Rit dye, and coffee. And they came out really pretty. I'm going to fold these in half. Go ahead and fold both of these in half. See if I can cut them, because I am going to have to cut them. I want to at least, you know, if you have a rough edge on it like that, you can keep it if you want. I'm going to have to cut these anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. You know, it just depends on what you like. If you want it kind of more grungy and rustic, you could just leave that on there. Okay, so I'm going to cut, I have to cut quite a bit off of here. A good inch, I would say. So I'm just going to cut over on the top here. I'm going to cut over to the music part and just cut off this whole blank strip here. And then, let's see how we do. A little bit more off here, maybe a 1/4 of an inch off the bottom. All right. Yes. There we go. And we'll work on our cover one night. I just wanted to go ahead and work with this tonight. So we'll put one of these coffee dyed pages in each of the signatures here. It might be a little bit too wide. Let's see how wide is it. It's not really wide enough to make a fold out. See, it's like half an inch, 1/4 of an inch. And again, it's white space that I'll be cutting off too. So that's, you know, that's all right. So about a little over, I think it's a little over 1/4 inch that I'm cutting off. These were just really big music books is what it was. It wasn't like an 8.5 by 11 music book. These were music books I got from my mom. I think these were the ones, and they were big, like those really big music from, she was in the choir, so it was like choir music. Okay, so let's see. One for that one for this one. Music. Got our music in both. And there we go. Okay, what's next? I have a random paper here. I'm going to put that to the side because I only have one of those. I don't even know where it came from. But it was sitting here, so I thought I would pull it over and see if I could use it. But I'll just use it in a minute because there's only one. Okay, this is some coffee dye ledger paper. All of these papers I got either in Happy Mail or at thrift stores. So I'm going to cut off right to the numbers here. It needs a little bit of a trim on for my journal. So let's cut that. And that should be good. Just want to make sure it's not going to be too wide here. I think it should be okay. I can always trim it later if it starts sticking out too far. So we're ready for our ledger paper here. And I can rearrange these too if I want to, or, you know, do whatever. It's not like it's sewn in yet or anything. This one can go over here. Okay. And this is another piece of ledger paper that I believe I received this in Happy Mail, I think from Maria. Really cool ledger paper. So let's fold these in half. And I'm going to leave the holes if I can. I think these might be okay. They're a little less, you know, wide this way. And so let's see. Yes, those are good. But they're a little wide, and again, not enough to really have a fold over. So let's cut a little bit off. Let's see, there's 2 sheets there. I can cut them at the same time. A little bit off the top here. top and the bottom. There we go. And see, that was all I cut off, like 1/2 inch or so. Okay, so we got one. We have one for each. So let's put these in here. I just love getting the pages together for a journal. It's so fun. So fun. Picking out the pages. So, okay, where are we in this one? We're right here. Okay, so I have another page here. So far we've got enough to do every other. We'll see how much. I did pull out some coffee dyed paper too. So this was some paper I got from Maria. She gave me when I met her. She brought this to me. I believe it was in that she had that tote bag full of wallpaper and this paper too that she had picked up from, or her mom gave her this. It was from her mom, who worked in she was a seamstress, and it had something to do with her sewing. And you see it says pocket right here. It has some lines, and I coffee dyed it, Maria. If you watch this, I coffee dyed that paper and it came out beautiful. I love it. I coffee dyed all of it that you gave me, so super cool. I love it. The texture and the color, just really, really cool. If you haven't coffee dyed it, maybe you have, but if you haven't, it does coffee dye really well. So this I'm going to fold in half too. See, this one says something about, you know, sewing instructions or something there. So something different in coffee dyed paper. Very unique. I think only Maria has this paper. So, so this is going to be a little tall. It's, you know, I would make a pocket, but it's not. I like to make pockets out of a little bit stronger paper, you know, like if I make pockets, I usually choose a cardstock or, you know, just some stronger paper. Like even this paper, this resume paper is very strong. That would be a good paper to make a pocket with. But since this is a little bit thinner, I'm not going to make a pocket with this. I'm just going to cut it off. I'm just going to measure like this, make a little fold here, and cut right here. Yeah, I just like my pockets to be strong, so I don't feel like, I want them to be strong enough for people to put things in and out without worrying about tearing or anything like that. So, okay, let's see. Let's still pull that apart. Okay, so where are we? We're getting to the middle. I'm not sure how many pages we're going to end up with. Might end up with too many, and if I do end up with too many, I would probably take out some of the black and white pages. Okay, this is still a little bit too, oh, it's a little bit too wide, huh? Okay, let me cut this one a little bit more here, just right here. A little bit too wide. Okay, so we're right here. This is for the other one. So yeah, that's better. So we've got one there, and we need really just one more right here. And so this one should be the same, because I think I put the same amount of papers in both of these signatures to start. Or that's what I was trying to do. So let's see where we are. Right here. Is that too wide? No. That one's okay. Okay, so then we have one. We need one here and one here. So we need two more in this one. So since we need two more, and I have this random paper here, I don't know what this is from, but it was sitting over on my desk. And it's kind of like a newsprint, or like I said, it's kind of like that end page, you know, that's what it almost feels like. But it's kind of neat, and I like the color, so why not go ahead and use it? You know, it's kind of nice to use if you have something random sitting around, ephemera or whatever, just to go ahead and use it instead of putting it away somewhere, right? So it just needs to be cut on the bottom and the top a little bit. And let me see, how long is it? See, it's not really long enough to make a pocket. If I was going to make a pocket, I would fold it up at the bottom and make a pocket. And there's my bell. Can you hear it? Okay, well, we're going to wind up for now. and I will be back with the next steps. So, you know, if you're going to work along with me on this no-sew project, go ahead and work on your pages and your cover like we did tonight. And I will see you in the next video. Super excited, and so have fun and happy crafting.